Athletic greatness comes in all shapes and all sizes. It doesn't come naturally, but is achieved from hard work, diligence, and adversity. Along the journey, there's opportunity, and there's always struggle. There is triumph, and there is defeat, and there is always a story behind the glory. Lined along the walls of the LSU Football Administration Building are the names of great athletes that have worn the purple and gold. Fans who followed the LSU Tigers and Southeastern Conference football in the mid to late 80s will always remember the name Wendell Davis.
Way to the end zone goes Davis. He's got it! Touchdown! A beauty! Fate and a pass complete to Davis.
No, he was the type of athlete that if you put him in a position, he was going to excel at that position.
Wendell was really the kind of the forefather of receivers in this conference. He was the first guy to really put up those sorts of numbers.
Touchdown to Wendell Davis.
Hey, Wendell, welcome to Natchitoches.
How you doing?
Such a pleasure to see you.
Oh, same here.
Have
Thanks
a
for
seat.
having me.
I see your famous smile. I mean, people tell me throughout your career, whether you were having a great day, a poor day, had just suffered 2 knee injuries on the same play, you were still smiling.
Yeah.
Trademark?
Trademark. My mother had a great smile.
Uh-huh.
And I guess she passed it on to me. Yeah.
Tell me about the way the game has evolved. Tommy Hodson told me that you ran the best routes of anybody he ever threw the ball to, which is quite a compliment.
Yeah.
And I know they listed you at 6'1", 6'2", and 200 pounds, and you're not that big,
No.
and you're not as fast as they listed, but you got open consistently.
Yeah.
Your nickname could have been Waffle House. Always open.
Always open. Pretty good. Oh, man. No, I was not the biggest, the fastest, the strongest. But I would say I thought I worked hard. I had a work ethic, and that came from my dad, and that I worked hard at everything that I did. So I knew I had to do something to set myself apart, and that was running routes and being disciplined in my route running. I had a great coach at the time, Coach Jerry Sullivan, who taught me how to run routes, who taught me that you must make every route look the same coming off the ball, which is receiver talk, coach talk, but make all of it look the same and be disciplined in your routes and be consistent. And so I pride myself in that, and that kind of separated me from the pack.
From Shreveport's Fair Park High School to All-America status at LSU to a first-round NFL selection, Davis excelled in receiving and then doing something with the football once he caught it.
And you couldn't catch him, and you kept wondering, he may not have won any track meets, but when he had the ball in his hand, he was the fastest guy on the field. There's something about him, he had that little extra something when the ball was in play that really made a difference for him.
Flea flicker. Hodson throws way down the field to Wendell Davis. Open at the 6. Touchdown LSU.
His routes were so good, he created separation out of the break. So he was easy to throw to. He was always open, and he was singled up. So it made my job a lot easier.
Level here. Wendell Davis runs a corner pattern. The ball comes over his opposite shoulder, and he falls away from the ball and still has to make the catch.
What really catapulted me was I worked with Tommy Hodson a lot in the offseason. And we developed this chemistry in the offseason, and we just hoped that it translated over into the real season, and it did. And when that did, I mean, it just took off from there. And but it was put in place by the coaches there, and it started with Eric Martin and Herman Fontenot. Those guys kind of built the foundation, and you had me and Roger McGee, Tony Moss, Todd Kinchin. Those guys come in and just kept it going. And now we got receivers. Every year we putting out good receivers, great receivers.
Hodson to throw. Wendell Davis, oh, so close.
that pass catching from quarterback Tommy Hodson, and then the ability to record the yards after the catch in the mid-1980s helped him set most of LSU's school marks, including single-season yards, over 1,200, touchdowns, 11, and yards per game, 113.
He'd catch them all, just throw it around him. All my golf buddies, they always tease me and say, man, that guy was so good. You could just throw it 8 feet or 6 feet or 4 feet, throw it in the dirt, and he'd go dig it out, and that was true. So he made me look good a lot of times.
And even though injuries ended his NFL career early, there is nothing that can take away what he accomplished.
2nd and 10. Willis throwing for the end zone touchdown. Wendell Davis.
Well, it was his route running, and most of all, it was his exceptional hands. He could catch a ball just about anywhere if it was underthrown or overthrown.
Play action to Rouse back to throw. He heaves it deep down the left side, going for it. Wide receiver.
How much has the wide receiver game evolved since the time you were starring at LSU and in the National Football League? That was then, this is now. How much has that position changed and the expectations?
Yeah. Well, first of all, the position, the player, wide receiver player himself has changed, evolved over time. I remember Carmichael. Carmichael's probably the tallest receiver I've ever encountered, right, back then. But now you see guys, they are truly 6'4", 220, running, 4.3, 4.4. So it evolved in that way, but it also, the game has changed a little bit, and I see guys that get more creative and they get to hone their craft a little better, more personal. Yeah.
So with the game that sticks out in everybody's mind, unfortunately, involving you, I was watching it.
Yeah.
I was in pain when I saw you in pain. And if I recall correctly, it was at Philadelphia on the old style artificial surface, very, very slippery, not nearly as good as what's available today.
Right.
And you were running a pretty simple route, and all of a sudden you make a cut, both knees collapse, down you went in a catastrophic injury. What happened and why?
Well, I can tell you what happened. Why it happened, not sure. But I think it might have a little something to do with the turf. But it was just a basic routine route. It was a post pattern, and I run this route all the time. And I got open. The ball was thrown a little short. Jim Harbaugh was a quarterback at the time. Ball was thrown a little short, so I slowed up to position myself. And when I slowed up and I went to jump, my feet just never left the ground. And all of a sudden, my feet popped out in front of me. And when I hit the ground, I felt this pain. And I've had knee injuries before. But this was a little different because it was in both knees. And I was saying to myself, I don't think I really blew out both knees, But soon the trainer came out, and the first question was, which knee is it? And I said both, and he was like, you're kidding me. And sure enough, he pulled the knee pads.
You weren't in a mood to tell a joke at that time, were you?
No, this is serious.
Yeah.
And, he pulled the knee pads up and just showed my knees pretty much disappeared. The kneecaps disappeared kind of up in the thigh area a little bit. And he was like shaking his head. He's like, yeah, you look like you've done it to both. And at that time, it was, the pain was.
You got a matching set of scars, right?
There you go. There you go. It's, it's one of those things that it was tough going through it. But I like to tell people that I became a better person coming through that. And a lot of the reason was because I had family around me and helped me get through the tough spots. But it's part of the game. It was a risk that I took. You take that risk when you play in professional sports. And
you know, your numbers in college were so impressive, and so were they in the NFL. And I think people kind of forget because of your injury and the struggles to get back to your former health in the NFL. But when you look back over your career, you can compare yours with just about anybody's, and they're very similar. They're very even. The impact that you had in college, the impact you had in the NFL, in my mind, as a football fan, still lives today. And I hope you take some pleasure in that.
You know, yeah, I do, but sometimes it's hard for me to believe, you know, especially at LSU, at the college level, where you got people like Chase and Jefferson and Odell Beckham, and these guys come in and they breaking all kind of records, and you know, and everybody say, you know, you still hold a record. I'm like, I thought that record was broken. They like, no, you still hold a record for receptions. I think that's the one, and they said, no, you still hold that record. So it kind of, you know, takes me back sometimes, and it helps me realize that, well, we probably did do something special there.
In the decades since, LSU fans have seen a rise in the number of wide receivers who excelled at their position as a Tiger. Many LSU fans believe Davis was the forefather of the modern-day pass catcher, which is why the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame added him to their elite list in 2023.
Well, I am happy that kids and people around the state kind of get to relive his career again, and it's well deserved. He's a super guy.
Today, Wendell Davis calls Illinois home, but he is always proud of his Louisiana roots and his athletic legacy in our state.
Having you here brings back so many fond memories.
Oh, yeah.
Congratulations to a most well-deserved induction into the 2023 Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame.
Thank you very much. It means a lot to me. When I first found out, I was shocked, but then I started thinking about my years in Louisiana and when it started for me. I'm thinking about back to the Boys and Girls Club. I'm thinking about my first coach. I'm thinking about playing in middle school. I'm thinking about playing at my high school, Fair Park High School in Shreveport. I'm thinking about LSU. All those things just came rushing back. And it's like a combination of things. And, you know, I just feel honored to be in this class.